Okay, well, good morning, and this is a question and answer session. I was at CASS earlier this week, and I answered a load of questions in the Q&A, but as usual I ran out of time, and I was given loads of questions. Just going to do a take, try and be succinct, and we'll see how we go. I've not done this before, no rehearsal, I don't even know what questions are coming up, but you know, I'll try not to ramble. Here we go. So, what were your first steps in starting your business? And okay, so I've got to be really succinct here. Do you know, the first steps in starting my business, when Ben and I started in the garage, the first thing we wrote was a vision and a strategy. We knew where we were going, that we wanted to be a top 5 agency in the next, a top 10 agency in the next 5 years. We really focused on the financials, and then we really focused on the product offering. We knew where we were going. The first steps were all about that, and then we got that together as quickly as possible, and then we started to talk to our clients and leverage our relationships. I think that was our first steps. We didn't pay ourselves for the first 9 months. It was our big, hard slog. But remember, we'd had good, 8-10 years of experience before we even got there. That one done. Oh, okay. So number 2, what was your biggest failure? Oh, I did talk a little bit about this in the lecture, but I think our biggest failure was probably the impact of the credit crunch, which pretty much wiped out half of our volume, 3.5 million quid at that time. And big challenge, but you have to draw on all your entrepreneurial resilience for sure. One thing I learned from that: if you're going to change an organisation, to beat failure, change is a big thing. It is disruptive. Don't mess about. Get on with it. Make decisions. Action. What do you do during your free time? Well, I suppose you've got to remember, I'm 23 years into entrepreneurship now, so the good news is I do have free time, but I play in a couple of orchestras. I inspire young people to be entrepreneurial in about 15 business schools. I've got 3 fantastic kids and a lovely wife. I do quite a bit of sport, rollerblading. I love rollerblading and swimming. Enough about me. Okay, can you name one book that made a huge impact on you and why? Well, I don't read many business books. I am ashamed. But I read, what was the name of that book? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read it. It's a holiday read. Very financially simple, but financially totally on the money. I recommend everyone to read it. It's all about passive income and what rich is all about and how you do it. Okay, what was the hardest moment in your business life? I think I've talked about that. Without a doubt, the 2 hardest moments have been where actually the only solution was that to save jobs was to lose jobs. And mainly that was brought round by the credit crunch. Another time we just had a bad turn in business. I can't really remember why. But anyway, enough about that. Okay. How did you find your co-founder? My co-founder is a guy called Ben. We've known each other for the 23 years we've been in business. I knew about 7 years before. So I was an event producer and Ben was a freelance event producer. So we got to know each other. So I was always very good at talking to people and networking. So, I think that's how you find your co-founder. Speak to people, network. For some reason, Ben and I always clicked and stayed in touch. And so through the industry and through all the work I did, I met my co-founder. Of course, I wasn't looking for a co-founder until I suddenly decided I was going to go into business. So probably between knowing I was going to go into business, finding my co-founder and doing it with Ben, actually it was probably only a 3-month decision. But remember, I've been working in the industry for 10 years. Enough of that. I hope I'm being succinct. Yeah, well, how many ideas did you have prior to your first company? Actually, I don't think I did, actually. I'm not sure I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, really. I suppose I was running events agencies, and I just thought, what else is there to do now? Go and run another events agency for somebody, for another company. The logical next step was to go and do it for myself. And I realised, rather than trying to think of an amazing idea that was going to make me lots of money, why didn't I just do what I love? That's why I know they always talk about passion in business schools. You have to do lots of things, find your passion, and then turn it into a business. So I didn't have any other ideas. Turning my business into a creative events agency and now a creative communications audience inspiration agency is what I've done. Is it easy for you to develop business ideas? Is the next one. There's two parts on this. And do you know, I always answer this quite simply. If you're going to find business ideas, what you have to do is get out of your comfort zone and go and try things. And try to find the things that you love doing. You know, somebody did ask me the other day, because I play the oboe and I play the saxophone, how come I've never started a musical business? Now that's a good question, but maybe I should, because I love playing the oboe and playing the saxophone and playing in orchestras. Interestingly, I've had a few goes at conducting recently, which I'm not very experienced at. I like that, but I think that's because it involves waving your hands and being in charge and all that sort of thing. But I think if you want to find business ideas, I think the best place is to go and think about and find out about your passions. How did you manage to have friends during... What's this? How do you manage to have friends during founding your first company? Hopefully you've made your friends and found them before you set up your first company, because it is a 24/7, 365 thing, and it's not a thing for making friends. But I must say that the friends I had around me, particularly those who'd set up business, were a great emotional support. And I think I've talked about this. Partnership is key. I had a business partner, but I have an amazing wife. Whoa. I think if you have an affectionate partner with you, helping you, keeping you in the world, helping your sanity, keeping you grounded, remembering what's important really helps. Yeah, okay. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently, knowing what you know now? Do you know, I'm not sure I could do it. I was with my business partner yesterday in Kew Gardens and we talked about this. Would we do it all over again? I said, oh God, no, it was so hard. It's been so relentless. But actually he said, no, we would do it again. We would do it over again. And we'd just do it differently. And I think what I do differently now is I know a big answer is about finding the best people you can. And I often think that I've not been that brilliant at finding really great people. I think also we trained up a lot of great people. And I think we should have tried much harder to keep them. Though it's so difficult in this world that has so much choice and so much opportunity, people do move on. Yeah, that's probably good enough for that. I'll answer that one. That's one already. How do you keep yourself so energetic? I don't know. I think I'm a bit of a loony. But I've always just been enthusiastic and passionate. But maybe this question it also says, but how does one keep oneself energetic? You know, folks, it's about adopting positive attitudes. I think also it's about finding things that shoot endorphins. So without a doubt, you know, I do probably a bit of sport, a bit of energy most days, if I can. And the music and the other interests you have help to keep your energy going. And you work on positivity, you know, I think talk it out, without a doubt. Keeping the energy up. Eat well. Sleep well. Yeah, you know, if you don't eat properly and go to bed early, you got no chance. Stay off the alcohol. Yeah, mind you, I'm a cheap date. I wouldn't bother. Okay, as advice, this person looking for advice. Would you rather start your own company right after university or work for a few years? Do you know, if I was going to give advice there, I'd say this. Finish university, get yourself all academic to knowledge up, and don't set up your business immediately. And listen, there are plenty of people who do, and some are successful, but I didn't. I went out and I worked for probably 8 to 10 years. I was a merchant banker. I really hated that. I then went into this industry, the conference events industry, and I found my love. And I think go out there and find what you love. Find your employer, and find jobs you hate. There's nothing like jobs you hate to tell you what you like. Find jobs hopefully you like, and eventually you'll discover your passions. And then you'll build your experiences and use your employees to train you up. So you develop your team building skills, your relationship skills, your networking skills, your sales skills, your marketing skills. Imagine, use your employer and all your experience over the next first 7 or 8 years to build all of that. So when you start your business, you've got a damn good base of knowledge and expertise. Yeah, so, but remember, entrepreneurship is just on the journey. Find your passion, build your career and expertise with a job, and then entrepreneurial opportunity eventually comes. You'll have to probably take a big step back in salary, but remember, you'll be in control of your own destiny eventually. That's just got to be the best. All right, well, we're doing all right here. Someone wants to know what educational career do you have? I went to university, went to Edinburgh University. Actually, I got a biological sciences degree in psychology. Well, interestingly enough, my business is running and building a behavioural and psychometric division right now. So that's very psychological and quite in tune with what I did. I think also the events industry is all about inspiring and motivating people to go and behave and add value. So maybe my psychology degree, which I loved, I've got to say, anyone there, Edinburgh University alumni? Big shout, I love that place. Okay, what did you learn in education that supported you on your journey? Okay, from the academic side, yeah, I learned how to, I suppose, how to marshal knowledge. But actually, I think at university, I learned more from all the life experiences. Because while I was at university, I played in a football team. I was president of a wind and jazz band, which we built to about 90 members, yeah. I was on the hall committee. I was in the Jewish Society. So I got stuck in. I learned team skills, creative skills, organisational skills. There's so much opportunity at university to get out of your comfort zone and build who you are. That is the biggest opportunity. And everybody moans on about how much the fees cost and how little time they have in the lecture hall and with their tutors. You've got a point, but actually it's bigger than that. Think bigger and broader. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. You don't have to watch all of this. Oh, blimey, a lot of questions here. What advice, I'm not sure if I can read it. What advice can you give someone who is starting... I'm sorry, you've got to use a pen, folks, with ink, yeah? I mean, the ink's running out. If the ink's running out, my entrepreneurial advice is get one that writes. Can't even read that, come on. How did you manage the funding to start the business? Okay, it's such a big question, funding. For my business, we didn't have any funding. We actually had two people who were interested in giving us money, but they wanted shares and we wanted control. So we said, forget it, me and my business partner, Ben. We're not going to take your money. We're going to start from nothing in a garage. Actually, we didn't have nothing because Ben had a client, which would once we delivered the job would give us about 40 grand. And then on day 3 of starting the business, they cancelled. So we had absolutely nothing. But we were a service business, and a consultancy business. So actually, we thought if we could go out and get the business first and persuade them to pay up front, significantly, like 90% in advance, we'd be able to self-fund our business. And we didn't pay ourselves for 9 months, and we kind of scraped our way, and we slowly built up momentum. So eventually, because we weren't too greedy, remember I suppose we worked for 10 years, so we had we had a certain amount of reserves, but we never had to borrow any money. I'm not a big fan of funding. I think my question is, remember in Aspect's first year, my company now, we delivered over £800,000 of volume in a garage. I can't remember what the profit was, but that's pretty damn good. Imagine, if then we'd gone and asked for funding from venture capitalists and that sort of thing, we'd have negotiated a much better deal, because we'd say, look, 900,000 out of a garage, you want a piece of this action? Okay, you can negotiate. The problem I worry about is people go out and find money and ask for money from venture capitalists before they know how good they are, and they give away their capability. Oh, so venture capital and all that kind of thing, yeah, fine. Business angels, be very careful. I think angel is a dangerous word. They're not really angels. They're mainly in it for themselves. That's my view. Have you ever thought about... I can't read that. How did you automate your business? Good question. I mean, obviously, when we started 23 years ago, no internet, no digital, no phones, really. So obviously, digital has massively changed our business, and we invested a lot of money over time, without a doubt. Our employees, only a small company, there's probably 15 to 20 employees right now in Aspect, and we've probably got a freelance community that works with us, so that probably makes a headcount of 30, 35. Everyone's got laptops, full mobility, they can work from anywhere, wherever they like. All of our technology is securely placed, all of our knowledge and content is securely placed in the cloud. You can access access the office from anywhere. Obviously, everyone has mobile phones and all of that kind of thing. We've created digital tools, psychometric digital measures that allow us to automate and analyse in the annual general meeting market and in the psychometric market. So we've invested a lot of time and money to automate the business, but it is a people business. So automation is important. It gives them more power and more productivity, but it's all really about people. I think many businesses, remember it's not a manufacturing business that I've got, then maybe it would be nice to do it. We often thought about maybe inventing a business that had widgets rather than, of some kind to sell. Anyway, only 2 questions left. I think we're doing all right, having never done this before. What challenges did you face during your entrepreneurial journey, and how do you overcome the challenges? Oh, blimey. how do you answer that question? The challenges never stop. If there is one thing as an entrepreneur you have to have, it is resilience. Because every day there is a challenge. It may be a people challenge. Yeah? It may be from your own internal resource. You know, people have lives and and you have to look after them. The challenges may be client challenges where suddenly, the brief, everything changes. It could be a challenge in terms of financial control and financial regulation. They never stop coming, and actually it is relentless. It wears you down, and in a way that's why I think you need a business partner, because the challenges are so huge. You might suddenly think that you've got loads of business, and then suddenly along comes Brexit, and then half your business gets postponed, or along comes your credit crunch, and suddenly you have issues there. We've got a client at the moment, £180,000. We delivered the job back in May. They still haven't paid us. Outrageous. Don't get me on that. 60-day payment, and their procurement departments just treat us like we're the bank. We're a tiddly little company. Outrageous. There are challenges forever. How you overcome those challenges is to keep a cool head, and also firmly believe, and I do believe this, wherever the mountain is, there's always a way around it or over it. I promise you. Yeah? And often you need to... Ben always says, if we bash our heads together hard enough, we'll find the answer. And sure enough, we have. Though there have been some pretty low moments on the way. So this is the last question. Someone's folded it a bit strangely. Are you always on the same page with Ben, who's my business partner? Do you know, I love that. And the answer to that is absolutely not. And we argue like cats and dogs. And people always think, wow, they're really up in arms, those guys. They're falling out. But we're not falling out. We are just passionately debating because we want to find the right answer. So one of the pieces of magic is we're rarely on the right page, but we always get to the right page. Sometimes it'll take a day. Sometimes it'll take 3 weeks or 4 months. But the key here is if we disagree, Ben and I have always thought that's fine. We know if we keep talking and we keep arguing, eventually one of us will change our mind and we'll find the right answer. And that simple piece of insight means that we never had a falling out, ever. Though mind you, I suppose over the 23 years I've been ruder, so it's me that probably has had to apologise to him. Yeah? Alright, great! Listen, that's the question session done! I'm going to shove this on YouTube and we'll see who watches it. I hope you do. Alright.